I'm gonna go over a dumbbell bench press with you. I have my bench here with a profile view, so you will be able to see from that angle. I'm gonna give some form cues and then I will demonstrate the move. So you will have a bench, you will have your dumbbells. If you're working out from home and don't have the bench, you can do this on the floor. So a couple of things I wanna talk to you about before we go over actually looking at the move is placement of our arms when they start and throughout the move. So you will see when I sit down on the bench, I will place the dumbbells on my legs and I will use my legs to kick up the dumbbells so that when I lay down on the bench, those dumbbells are going to have momentum from that little boost so that I can fall back and have them placed overhead. We always want to start with them overhead. If we start with them here, we're pushing up to that starting point and utilizing some of our strength, fatiguing ourselves before we even begin our reps. If your weights aren't at a weight that you need to do that kick up, that's okay. Fall back, still start with them from the top. When you look up at your hands and your wrist, you should see that they slightly turn in towards each other. This is going to help create the path we want the arms to take as we press. And that path is a slight V inward toward the chest, not super close where our elbows fall below and touch our rib cage, but we also do not want a T form as we press. We want to squeeze in. And if you stand and take your elbows from the T to a slight inward turn, you'll feel those muscles engage. So we're working our chest, our pecs. So we want to slightly turn the hands in and drop in that slight V motion. Another thing we want to make sure when we press is that we do not come too far down below the line of our shoulders. As the weight gets heavy, that's going to put a lot of stress on our shoulders to push back up. We don't need that depth. We need maybe an inch below the shoulders, inch and a half, if that, to feel the engagement of those muscles and press back up. Another thing you want to be mindful of with all movement is your tempo. So the hardest part of this move is the press up. It's going to require force. The lowering is not as hard, but we need to make sure that we're controlling that and not just dropping to the bottom and then using our strength to press up. We should be in control of the movement from the top to the bottom and then back up to the top. Feet should always be on the floor. So you'll see when I lay back, I'll wrap my legs around the bench so that my feet are pressed into the floor. If you are short on the shorter side and you aren't able to reach the floor, I just use for my clients some plates or something that can give me an elevated platform so that we can make connection with the ground. Reason being is you want that firm foundation to press into, especially as the weights get heavier. You will press into the ground as you're pressing those weights up. And then my final tip is when we lay back, we actually want to try to pull and retract our shoulder blades together. And that is what happens, and you will see a tiny gap between my lower back and the bench because I am pulling my lats in. Therefore, I'm pressing all of this up. Feet have contact on the ground. My back is locked in, and it really allows my chest to work through the movement. So I think that's all for the tips. I'm going to go ahead and demo the move for you. I guess that final part is one part I didn't speak about. If the weights feel too heavy, you can drop them to the side, but I would lower them to the body before trying to get up.